Our body has three types of muscular tissues. We have skeletal muscles around the skeleton that helps in voluntary movement, because if you want to walk to the other corner of the room, you can walk with the help of skeletal muscles. And the skeleton itself acts as a lever to move the body. But the job is done by the muscles of the body, because the muscles are capable of converting the stored chemical energy into mechanical energy. So the other type of muscles are cardiac muscles present in the heart. Smooth muscles are present in all the hollow structures in the body, like the blood vessels, the airways, most regions in the abdominal pelvic cavity along the digestive tract, because it helps in propelling food through the digestive system. And cardiac muscles and smooth muscles are not consciously controlled by us. So these two muscles are considered involuntary, okay? Whereas skeletal muscles are voluntary muscles. These muscles are also striated, because if you look at the histology of skeletal muscles, they appear like a snake skin. They have lines on them. Those are known as striations. Okay, and then they are multinucleated because they have several nuclei. While the embryo is developing, tiny muscle fibers fuse into long muscular fibers that look like long noodles under the microscope. So they don't look like individual cells. They look like long fibers with several nuclei in them along the periphery of the fibers. These muscles can be voluntarily controlled, because if you want to nod your head, you can nod your head, right? So these are under voluntary control. The primary function of the skeletal muscle is to produce body movement. You can walk or run or just grab a pencil, type a keyboard, etc. So they primarily help in movement. But some other not much known functions are also stabilizing the body. Of course, they help in stabilizing the body, the joints, and help in maintaining position while you're standing. Posture muscles are constantly active when you're awake. So you need a sustained contraction of your neck muscles constantly while you're awake, because you want to sit upright, right? Unless you're laying down, these postural muscles are constantly active. And then they also function in storing and moving substances. Storage is accomplished by mainly smooth muscles though. And those smooth muscles are called sphincters that prevent the outflow of stuff from the hollow organs like the stomach, right? So temporary storage of food in the stomach or the urinary bladder is possible because some of these muscles can also store substances in the gastrointestinal tract and the reproductive system and the digestive system. So they also help in moving substances. For example, the venous return. Okay, veins are not under any pressure. Arteries are under a lot of pressure because the heart squeezes blood out away from the heart through the arteries. But veins are the blood vessels that carry deoxygenated blood, and the veins return blood to the heart for being pumped out after oxygenation, right? But the veins themselves don't have any pressure in them. So the main mechanism by which the veins pump blood back to the heart is by the muscles squeezing them upwards towards the heart. So when we run or walk or exercise, all of these contribute to the venous return of blood. Okay. The last very important function of the muscle is thermogenesis. Thermogenesis is the property of the muscle that contracts to generate heat. So when muscle contraction occurs, a lot of energy is expelled, a lot of heat is expelled, and this process is known as thermogenesis. Okay, so involuntary contraction of skeletal muscles also occur sometimes, and this is known as shivering. So when we shiver, these muscles contract, and when the muscles contract, they increase the rate of heat production because they increase the rate of metabolism. Okay, so when that happens, the body produces heat to maintain homeostasis. Now, some other important properties of the muscle are electrical excitability. So electrical excitability is a property that is shared by both skeletal muscles and all other muscles, cardiac muscles, smooth muscles, along with the nerve cells, right? Because the nerves carry a stimulus or electrical signal, and those electrical signals are known as action potential. And these action potential are basically just impulses that are carried by the nerve cell to, say, a muscle cell. Okay, and the muscle cell gets triggered by the nerve cell due to the change in electrical signal, right? So when a stimulus reaches the muscle cell, they can get excited in presence of the electrical signals, and that is called electrical excitability. And some other ways the muscle can be excited is also through chemical signals, like neurotransmitters. Neurons can actually secrete neurotransmitters at the neuromuscular junction between the muscle and the neuron that can cause the muscle to get excited. When muscle get excited, they can contract forcefully when the charges inside the cell get disturbed. Okay, we understand this a lot better when we study the neuromuscular junction, but for now, just understand that the muscles can receive an electrical signal, and as a result, they can forcefully contract and generate a tension. Okay, and when this tension is generated and the muscles contract, they pull. So when they contract, they pull on the points of attachment and generate movement. So here you can see a muscle in motion. So you can see that this is the belly of the muscle, and they're attached on either ends by tendons. And when these muscles contract, they shorten. And when the muscles shorten, they pull on the bone that they're attached to generate movement. And the next characteristic of muscles is to extend, and that property is called extensibility. So extensibility is the ability of the muscles to stretch to a certain amount without being damaged. For example, when your stomach is full of food, the smooth muscles in the walls of the stomach are able to stretch to accommodate the whole pizza or a large steak that you ate, and that is called extensibility. Cardiac muscles also stretch each time the heart beats, and the ability of these muscles to stretch and extend is called extensibility. The last property is elasticity. Elasticity is the ability of the muscle to recoil back to its original length after a certain amount of contraction or extension, right? So it's like a rubber band. You stretch out a rubber band and you let it go, it recoils back to its original shape. Muscles are pretty much like that after contraction or extension. So that property is called elasticity.